Now, 5:32, calling the Board of Directors meeting to order. This is being recorded. The first item of business will be the oath of office.
Can I just use this?
Yeah, I don't know. You need to raise your hand if you want to read it, but you'll note on yours that the date may be wrong,
Yeah.
but the one that Aaron has is correct.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to just go ahead and read it.
I, Jerry Keene, having been elected to the office of Director of the Netarts-Oceanside Sanitary District, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Oregon, the laws thereof, and the policies of the Netarts-Oceanside Sanitary District, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Director according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, the next item is approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Seems like a good agenda.
Excuse me, Simeon?
Seems like a good agenda.
Okay. All right, very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. We do not have any guests this evening. No public comments, board questions, comments, or discussion. Any items before we get any further into the agenda? Next item is review of the minutes of July 17th, regular board meeting minutes. Motion to approve the minutes.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Simeon seconds. And I do have a change to page 1 of the minutes where Aaron is now added on item 2, or let's see. Okay, item 2, and then, which is the oath of office for Simeon and Jeff from last month. And then I guess these other numbers will be adjusted, changed to reflect that.
I had no other comments about the minutes.
Okay. If nobody has any further comments, all in favor of accepting the minutes as written with the one change for the added oath of office, say aye.
Aye.
And the next item is July 34th, 31st. Board audit and accounts, or no, financial statements. I'm sorry. Motion to accept the financial statements.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Don't know if it's part of the financial statements. I think it is. But there's a upgrade replacement project for $14,455.10. Remind me what that is?
Which page are you on?
It's,
Page 5,
page 5, under disbursements. First line.
That was the Ocean Highlands pump station generator installation. That was electrical and pump. Not the generator. It's the actual cost of the generator. And then the incident.
Thank you.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is
Can
the,
you remind me again why the debt service fund is in the red at this point?
Debt service.
Right. So generally, if you see that, we haven't received the tax revenues yet. And
Okay.
so the other funds basically cover it. So that will go red and it'll change once we receive the tax bill.
so what is the general time frame? Is that November? Or when that rolls? Excuse me,
When does the money start coming in from the county?
Well, we get a little bit monthly, but November.
November,
About 90% of people pay their property.
yeah,
But you know, so I mean, if you look on page 8, you'll see the funds, the rest of the district's funds, that it's not a problem to cover it.
Yeah. No, there's plenty of money. I just, the red stands out.
Yeah. Are we talking about the?
yeah. We're gonna, well, I'm thinking when we get to the workshop, the first item was changes to the audit or to the way the financials are done. We'll talk about it then.
So we'll talk about this doc.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah. So all in favor of accepting the financial statement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Board audit. Accounts payable for review.
The sewer line repair for 2639, that was what we talked about at the last board meeting. That's correct.
For the address. That tax lot. That tax lot.
That's 5345 Netarts Highway.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's what we discussed last month.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was just making sure I understood.
If there's no questions, we'll move on to the district report.
And the treatment plant's running well within its permit limits, as you can see. I have not contacted, and this goes off what Simi was just talking about, I have not contacted a surveyor yet to come survey it. We got to dig out the files and get the easement. We've been busy with getting other policies, not policies. Have the attorney busy on other stuff like the IGA and resolutions that we have to have, so. I will have something for the board next month on the survey of that use. There is a draft and I actually put it in my district report because I've had it in with the IGA, the draft IGA for the Netarts Water District and NOSD is attached tonight for the board's review, and then we'll have, if the board approves it, we'll have legal counsel send it over to the water district. One from last month, I think the board wanted to know what we can do with the old generator out of the Ocean Highlands pump station. So I spoke with the auditor, and by resolution, the board can surplus that generator out for sale. We have to do some paperwork in the office because we have to take it off asset lists, and there's stuff we have to work out with the auditor on that. But the process is by resolution to surplus it. You cannot donate it to anything other than another municipality, public entity like fire districts or something like that. You cannot donate it to
Private enterprise.
private enterprise. You can't even donate it to nonprofits.
Oh, really?
Has to be a municipality or a public entity. They don't recognize those as public because I guess of how it serves. I don't know. But he told us sitting there, we cannot do it that way. We have to surplus it out. You can, like I said, you could donate it to the fire district, to the water districts, but you cannot donate it to anything else. They can buy it. You can put it up, but then you have to advertise it. Everybody gets a fair chance at bidding on it.
So do you need a board action to surplus that?
Yeah, so if the board wants to go ahead and sell it, or, dispose of it like that, we'll have to do a resolution. We'll have to write a resolution surplusing that out for sale. So if the board wants to, we can get a resolution written up to surplus that out. And we could do that next month or something. So it's whatever the board wants to do.
When you say selling,
Well, you can actually advertise it for sale, and you can get bids on it. So we would have to advertise it.
but that would be other municipalities.
Yeah, that would be anybody in the state.
Anybody.
No,
only
anybody doesn't,
It could be sold to
We can only
anybody.
donate it to municipalities, but if we want to sell it, we can sell it to anybody.
Yeah, you can sell it to a municipality, you can sell it to a private entity, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So that's your options. If you want to donate it to the fire district or something, I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
You can certainly do that.
Okay.
Tillamook Water District could use the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
There's a story about
they're not gonna touch it because it would fit up in Ocean Highlands, right? It's the same machine, similar
it would fit where.
in Ocean Highlands, their water system.
I do believe it is a match as far as the KW.
Yeah.
The actual engine size. I do believe it's a match.
But that's owned by the homeowners association,
Yeah.
and Netarts Water is having nothing to do with them. That's part of the problem that would be created if we were to try to work something out.
Yeah,
with them.
Netarts Water, I believe their agreement with the homeowners association of the Highlands is that they service, but any even oil changes, any kind of servicing is paid for by the homeowners association. Netarts Water has no financial responsibility for it. They just use it and maintain it.
Interesting, huh?
There's a lot of history connected with all this. But, anyway,
Okay,
That kind of seems to me like the best thing to do would be to surplus it and see if anybody wants to buy it, and maybe someone will get a good deal that needs it.
Well, kind of wish Jeff was here. Because it could probably be used behind the church. Netarts.
It would, the ownership would have to transfer.
I mean, that fire department, it would be their area for emergency management.
So I would advise we just table that for right now and we address it next month.
I'd just be interested to know what,
Yeah.
if he'd given it more thought or not.
Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
Because I can't write the resolution until we know what the resolution.
Right. Right,
address.
okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just, my understanding from Dan is that if this unit were to fail, you can't get parts for it,
The engine,
the engine. Yeah. I mean, it's so old, but if it's running, it's running.
Well, we have engines older than that, but this particular engine in this generator was a 1 or 2 year only. And then Cummins, I think, had a lot of issues with them. So they stopped making them. But after this long, it's 2008. After this long, there's no more parts available.
So somebody may or may not be buying a register.
Yeah. Understood.
The wastewater treatment plant generator and Happy Camp pump stations are due for servicing and load bank testing. So I did have the cost for that. Of course, it came in after this report was written. So the wastewater treatment plant generator for servicing and that's changing the oil, all the filters, and load bank testing the generator is $4,447.96. Happy Camp pump station is $3,067.74. I like to do those just before we get into winter. If we have any generator problem, show the ET, just had them serviced and had them checked and verified if anything, fails. And it's good for us to know that the generators are operating. The electrical part generators are putting out the electrical that it has to run systems.
So that's about 7,000 total.
Yeah, I try to do a couple of them every 2 to 3 years. We don't want to do all 7 at one time. So. Treatment plant's running well within its permit limits. The headwork has channels, ditches, basically in it. And inside of all that, there's a lot of rebar. The rebar has to meet the seismic codes. And we're starting to have where moisture has gotten through the concrete. There's not a lot of surface area where the concrete can get wet without it finally getting the rebar inside. What happens, the rebar rusts, it expands, and it starts cracking the concrete. And we're probably getting to a point where some of our slide gates, so if we have to shut off one of the channels and move it to a bypass channel, some of the gates don't fit. I think there's 2 right now. One we can't get out, and I think there's 2 there's 2 that we can't get in because the concrete has swollen and pushed the guides inward. So I'm going to have the engineers look at that. It's not it's not an emergency repair right now, but it is something that we're probably going to have to look at. Once I meet with the engineer, most likely we'll put it as a project and when we update our facility. I just want the board aware of it in case something happens and we have a failure out there and we have to do something on an emergency to close those channels or open them.
So the gates are metal objects, things that slide in.
Yeah, so the gates are made of aluminum and it's got slide rails. Just think of just sliding down on something like that. It's the slide rails that the guides that you slide the gate down, those are pushed in and crooked now or twisting sideways because the concrete is putting pressure on them, which stops the original gates from going in.
I was
The
just
guy- some of them-
imagining something like manufacturing something that out of plywood that you could use in an emergency or something until it's repaired. I don't know if that's a good idea or.
Well, it would probably, the problem is it's the slide gates themselves where you would, it's not so much the gate that you have, nothing's going to fit. You could probably make something, like you said, out of plywood if it's thin enough. We'll find a way to put something there if we have to screw 2x4s to the walls and then drop something in on an emergency type of deal. I just want the board to aware that it is a little bit nearer future to look at something to have to repair that headworks.
So what's your best guess about what that will involve in terms of a repair?
It will require bypassing of the influent on the pump cycles. So a contractor would have to do an entire bypass of all of the channels and go directly to like the partial flume where all your measuring devices are that measures the gallons. So I would imagine it'd be something like that. Then they would get in there and they would cut away concrete, retreat it, basically pour, repair sections or entire new channels. It'd be a substantial amount of work.
Yeah, it sounds expensive.
Yes, it will be expensive. We've already had to repair the first influent. I had a stainless steel plate made to go over the concrete to help stop that, because that concrete where it, receives a lot of the sewer water, as you know, eats concrete. So that was the first one a few years ago fixed. It's just now getting to the point where the rebar is swelling, it looks like, and the channels are starting to crack. The aluminum walkways that you pull up to do your cleaning and put them back, some of those won't fit back down on there. They're sticking up a little bit. So we'll have to trim those down to make those walkways flat again. But it is getting to a point where it'll have to be addressed in the next few years. I just want the board aware. The Lower Avalon pump station project is in pre-design. I did get a email for an update from the engineers, and right now they're kind of stuck a little bit waiting for Tillamook PUD to meet with our electrical engineers on how they're going to bring the three-phase power to the new site. Whether it's going to be, it has to do with them doing the design for the setup of the pump station layout. So if it comes in overhead and the transformers will be pole mounted, if PUD wants to do it that way, then that changes your layout in your lot there on how you lay out the pump station. If they require the big green pins like you see outside here, right back here, then that has to be accounted for and laid out for your wet wells and your valve vaults and your pump station building. Looks like
That's all underground now, isn't it, out there?
no, I think it's overhead.
It's overhead?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's PUD's is the one that has to design how they're going to get the three-phase power there, and then you design around that. It looks like Mark Landis, which is our electrical engineering firm, is meeting with PUD next Tuesday. So it's moving, it's just moving slowly right now because they're stuck finishing the layout. Any questions on that? No? NCC Control Company got back to me today, and the HVAC unit delivery was supposed to be the 1st of September. Now the supplier is moving it out to the middle of October. NCC Controls is trying to push back on that, saying that's unacceptable. You need to get it to us because it's already been nearly a year. So it's a supply issue. How, why, I don't know, but
Is that affected by tariffs? Is that
he
don't-
didn't say. That was just a quick email he sent.
but the price that we've agreed to is firm?
Yes, so far, there's been no price change. That's the first thing I asked.
Okay.
Be good to get it in before you start needing the heating.
I'm sorry, I didn't make out what you said.
I said it would be good to get that installed before we start needing to heat the building.
Well, it's always better to put it in under, good weather instead of inclement weather when you're working with electrical and stuff. I have found over the years. So yes, we're pushing them to try to get it done, hopefully this next month. So Center Logic has not switched us over to SharePoint yet, the cloud. They now want to do it, I think Aaron sent them the 15th of September. Can't really change it over to first of the month, accounts payable, those type of reportings. The 15th, the middle of the month is the best. So we set that date, September 15th. The office will go to the cloud of September.
Is that, have the potential of creating that logjam with the heat people?
That should not on the server.
You don't have to shut down for a day or anything like that.
No. Well, no, we shouldn't. They say it's a changeover. We're not going to see anything other than we may probably lose some computers for a while. Access, we don't know.
Oh, okay.
Number 7, personnel. Lincoln Loving has passed his treatment and collection 2 test. He's now grade level 2. He is grade level of the treatment plant. Ray Hyatt, he is about halfway through his training, doing really well. He should be testing next. And Leanne McDuck will have her first anniversary October 1st, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
So I think it's personnel going along rather well. And currently, that's all I have. I haven't updated the operations summary yet, but I was kind of hoping to get the HVAC done for the store. I may have to update it for next month. We have projects that happen.
So are the projects that are completed just gonna drop off?
I'll probably make a note of them on here
Okay,
that they're completed or the date they're completed, and then
Okay.
I think I'll work it down until finally,
so maybe a sentence
yeah,
or so on each one.
with an update. Yep.
Okay,
And of course, you've seen the flow chart. If you look at the flow chart, you'll see that July, we really got no rain at all.
Yeah, that's zero or something.
Yeah. And that 0.04 is nothing. Should be fairly small. That's all I have. Board has any questions?
all right, so we're into old business. I don't know, do you have any more comment on the Avalon pump station? I think you've already covered that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Conex site update. I don't know whether that's you or Jerry.
I'm waiting for news.
Okay, so the permit was issued. The contractor worked this last weekend. He got the directional drilling done. So the conduit, that's what you see, the big plastic tubes up in the air. That's for the electrician to run the permanent power. The 4 PEDs to mount the pedestal on, they're poured. So right now the contact's curing. So I'm thinking probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
It's going to be loaded Tuesday.
I know it's gonna be loaded Tuesday. Yeah. So I will talk to Todd to see if we can get it moved. I don't know how long it takes for concrete to set to where it gets able to set it on there. He's already mentioned to me, don't put anything else in it. And you and I agreed talked that we could store the stuff in the fire department.
Well, I haven't talked to Jeff because the last I heard it was going to be finished, no problem.
Well, it took longer to get that permit and then, but
No, I mean, after the permit was came
Yeah.
out, it was going to.
Yeah.
I thought I heard it's going to be done by Tuesday morning. So it's not going to be done by Tuesday morning. So I have to talk to Jeff.
I don't know that yet. I'm hoping that it's done no later than Monday. It's moved over into place. I'm not too worried about it being welded down. once it's set on those piers.
Right.
But he hasn't gotten back to me on what the concrete people told him that, because they poured it Wednesday. So this is only yesterday they poured it, yeah. So I don't know what mix they used. And so I don't know how long the cure time is going to be. I just went out and looked at it a little while ago. It's probably hard enough to put the stuff over there. At least my experience with the concrete we poured here. But like I say, there's a different mix that they can use.
It'd be great because it's the difference between moving it once and moving it twice.
Right. So the goal is I'm pushing the contractor to get it moved over there.
Okay. Thanks.
We can, like I said, because you can't build propane until propane's relocated too.
So that's not time sensitive.
So
Okay.
when it first came up with August 26th, I figured there was 3 weeks, it would be no problem. But I didn't realize that the county was not going to issue the permit till the 11th hour. So
Because they screwed up the first time. Probably not.
that's my understanding. Yeah.
Okay. We will have people here Tuesday morning to help load it either into the container or hopefully the emergency operation.
Well, like I said, if it comes in pallets, one of the guys can grab the forklift and we can move them, and then we can bring them over to the front of the Connex. Because he still has to put as you see, the rock is sitting out there, so he can do the gravel pad too and stuff around it.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I don't,
One last thing, so electrical I will schedule after the Connex stops at Sam place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
but for the rest of the board may be aware of it or may not. The boring that needed to be done to put the electrical underground has been done,
That is complete, yes.
complete.
Like I said, you can go out there and see the conduit that's sticking up.
Right, any questions or comments on the Connex container? Workshop update. This month, this was what we had from the workshop gathering back in March. What I'd like to do is sort of move this forward before we get into the next budget cycle. You know, and there was some assignments. I don't expect that anybody has really done any work on it, but if they could take a look at it, and we'll start for a few minutes with the budget structure, because Dan has been talking to the auditor, and there could be some changes to the report that we get in monthly, I think. So if you want to
So your
mention that.
your financial statement that you read, the auditor doesn't like that. It's not accurate. When you have to force numbers into a sheet, our software program produces what are called balance sheets. You got your board audit, you got balance sheets. So what it'll show you is everything that you wrote checks on and everything that in the bank accounts, right? Yeah, everything we brought in total and everything we spent to date each one of those months. So it should give you a clearer view of exactly the funds coming in and the funds going out. More accurate than what you're actually seeing at 8 pages. And it's probably, it's a bit, the auditor doesn't like this because he doesn't think it's giving the accurate information that it should.
And this new way is that we have a computer thing that will,
It'll all be generated by the computer.
so it's not gonna take more labor.
No,
Good.
if there are elements, parts of this financial statement that the board likes to see, I know Simeon likes to see the SDC sales. I mean, we could probably use something like that, pare it down to just a couple of pages of information. But it would not be called a financial statement. It's some sort of update or something like that.
financial report.
Well, I'm learning after with the auditor this year, we gotta watch our terms.
Okay,
Using financial reports and things like that. That's why Craig had a hard time. He took that, was trying to figure it out. It's because it's not accurate.
Okay.
And he said that Craig, most likely, he's pretty sure he did correct accounting procedures, but because of the way this is laid out, it can give you the false impression that either there's embezzlement or, there's surplus money that you just can't account for. And I know he knows that's what the issue that Craig probably had with it. So this is something that the districts had this since I came to work here, and it had it before that. So it was something those boards back then made up that they wanted to see that information. So this isn't anything we're required to do. It's just information for the board.
Okay. There was just item 2 was NOSD components with no specific action. Then item 3 was the water district rates. And I think we have a document to go over this evening on that subject. Lagoon sludge removal. More tracking than anything else. Assuming
On the
sludge, building the fund for sludge removal. Lagoon.
Yeah, so when it gets closer to emptying a lagoon, I'll work closer. I'm still here, I'll work closer with the engineer to come up with at least probably 4 or 5 years before we actually anticipate having a haul. So,
John, just going back, I did do my action item, but looking, there actually is no requirement that special districts use IGAs you can use the regular contracts. So it's my assignment, so that's my notes.
Okay. So the apprenticeship program, it frankly, in a way, surprised me when everybody gets these schedules from the community college, and normally they end up in a circular file. But I was frankly a little bit surprised under some of their manufacturing and industrial technology, how well some of their courses would actually fit. I mean, there's electrical code, hydraulics, bearings, seals, and lubrication. That's something you're into, and so forth. So, I mean, I don't know what all that would eventually look like, but it seems like there are a number of courses that fit the kind of business that we're in.
Simeon, did you talk with the school?
I spent some time looking at the courses. I have not yet talked with the school.
Okay.
Because I was kind of waiting for, I don't remember what I was waiting for, but it seemed like we had said that there was another conversation we wanted to have first.
well,
so just so you know, DEQ does accept when you have trainees going to become certified operators, anything, things like any type to do with mechanical, electrical, that helps them get their eligibility quicker to take the DEQ test for certified operators. Just so you know.
and when we talked about this before, we were having trouble finding filling positions. That's not the case right now, correct?
Yeah, we don't have any open positions right now.
Right. So, I mean, it was a different,
It's long term. It's still valid, I think, for long term.
sure. Yeah, but
That's what this was.
So we are still on with the workers' comp providers for training. So we're still a facility that's on their list to call if they have replacement need, not to hire, replacement need to train somebody. So we're still in on that.
I loved it when you brought it up. And I like that we are under pressure, so we can explore it without being under pressure.
Right. I guess what I meant to say is that we're not under the gun. We have time to figure something else.
It seemed like there was a situation where a number of other communities, cities, whatever, were also short of staff. Is that still true? Because I haven't seen anything in the Headlight Herald lately, or I haven't seen much advertising looking to fill positions.
If you want to see if there's advertising open positions in this type of fields, water and wastewater, stuff like that, utilities, you're better off looking through the OAWU website.
Okay,
SDL will also, you can post there. So look at the SDL website. You're not going to really see it in your local papers
okay,
unless it's a local entity that's hiring.
Yeah.
Advertising for a job. But if you want, there is a shortage. There is a shortage. DEQ sends out we get recruitment letters, all of us, all the time. I know that I do, Brian does, Sean does, but they've been doing this for over a decade and a half.
Yeah.
So they're in with DEQ, and DEQ is the one that most employers, entities, utilities, they will call DEQ and get a list of people that meet their requirements for whatever the grant levels are.
So I still would be happy to talk with Tillamook Bay Community College. I would need a slightly clearer idea of what I was proposing to them, like what the apprenticeship program would look like. Perhaps, Dan, maybe you and I could sit down and brainstorm that out a little bit, and then I could talk to them.
Okay. Yeah, what we would need, what DEQ would need from the college are like their transcripts or whatever courses they take, because not all of them will qualify, but it just helps the trainee get a step up on the training program. So like John brought up bearings and seals and things like that, which would pertain to pumps and things. So you can, like with mine, I can take stuff out of my college transcripts and I use those to get certified in 6 months, not a year. So it is very helpful.
All right.
you know, and I don't know whether a student, they have obviously a 2-year program leading to an associate degree, but it could be that some of these courses, a person could take them outside of having to register as a potential degree candidate and just take the necessary courses that would help them out. I don't know. Whether that's a way of handling that or not, depending upon how the school does their thing.
Yeah. Okay, I will circle back and see what I can figure out on this.
So I mean, just if you went to the school and said, what kind of apprenticeship programs do you have for other things? And find out what they've got and see if
Yeah.
we could fit something in their format they already use.
Okay. All right.
Okay, then we had community outreach. I guess that's still ongoing. I think, didn't we had one meeting with, was it the community club or something like that?
We did
But certainly,
before the budget process this year.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's an ongoing subject. And let's see, we'll still look at succession planning. I know, Jim, that was an area that you had stressed kind of, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And
We're still planning on talking about this next month.
yeah,
Like we switched from talking about it next month to talking about it now, so I wanted to know.
well, I don't know. Did we have any specific person assigned to that one, to succession?
No, I was just talking about the whole memo, but,
Well, we can talk about it next month, but just kind of reviewing, because we didn't last month, and obviously expectations memo, I haven't worked on that, but does anybody have any further comment tonight? If not, we'll move on to the low income assistance program. Which I don't expect a whole lot of decision making, but what I tried to do is just lay out a bunch of material as far as kind of where we're at. And I struggled, I didn't come up with a, how do we fix everything? Because the one thing that I didn't know was how other entities handle it, how PUD handles it. And so I tried to put down sort of the way they do things. And I'm open to any comments that individuals may have tonight. And we can obviously talk about it next month also. Simeon, I know you had a great deal of interest in it, and we were going to get together and talk. And unfortunately, we didn't over the course of this last month. But Erin also added some things with a person or two that has actually used the program, in the last year or two?
And here, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Which program?
this low-income assistance program.
But then there's in here, it says nothing's never been used.
Well, that's what I kind of thought, but she tells me that there's, what, 1 or 2 people that have actually used it?
Yes, prior to 2023.
Well, due to the way it's currently written, other ones that could have used it for like a month or 2 or something.
Yeah.
They didn't get to qualify because of the way the
Well-
restrictions are.
Right, and one of the restrictions, at least in my mind, is the timing,
Right,
dates.
right,
Because if a person, let's say, gets in a car accident and they can't work for 3 months, and they're already close to not able to pay, let's say,
yeah,
in the, they're not operating with the fiscal year.
right, right, right. Yeah, if they have an accident in December or January and they're injured and they can't pay, that's totally different than having to start it in July. You're right.
So that's something I'd like to see changed.
One of my flags was that they could be disqualified if they have a 16-year-old that's working in the house or that lives in the house. A lot of 16-year-olds go in and push carts and work part-time. That shouldn't disqualify somebody.
It shouldn't. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but as far as programs that HUD has and that others have, they normally, anybody that's earning income in the household is included in the gross income that the family has. Now, I've already had this discussion with Erin, but she says, why? I mean, it's not the person who's primary, but that is generally the way it's done. That's the way CARE does it. So we don't have to go down that route, but that is a standard that if you make income, then that's part of the total when that's computed. So, but we don't have to go down that route. The other problem that we have potentially is if somebody has, I don't know what's going to qualify them to receive the benefit. Is it just a their income tax return? Is it total assets? And if you look at what CARE does, they look at total assets, everything that you get when they're computing the amount of money that's you take in, which, as we all know, we have one individual in Oceanside who does a lot of walking, who has built up a reserve here at the sanitary district. And, you know, hey, that's fine. But just, it's another factor potentially. We're not going to tell that individual that, hey, you got to pay that down necessarily before we'll let you participate in the program. But it is a question to be raised. So anyway, there's a number of things to potentially consider how you want to do it.
So, the PUD and City of Garibaldi, they let CARE handle all of the analysis of people's financials and then they act on that information? Is that how that works?
I believe so. I think they have a relationship with CARE. And I think CARE the person would go to Garibaldi and I think they would send them to CARE and then they come back and Garibaldi would pay that month. There's no program that I could find that would be month after month after month. They're all, the person is at risk of having their utilities shut off, be it water or electric, and they'll pay that month, get them out of the trouble they're in, and then they're more or less on their own. If you noted, the PUD apparently allows $250 a year to be contributed towards paying the utility. So, I mean, you can do it, but it's a different kind of program if you're gonna say, all right, you're good for the whole year, or you're good for 6 months of the year.
Yeah, I'm with Jim that it would be good to be able to respond to people in an emergency, one way or another. As opposed to requiring us to figure it out on a year-by-year basis. And I'm not 100% sure what that looks like, but
Okay. And that's fine.
So another issue is that the average person that is in need for this, where we're talking here, probably doesn't know this thing exists. And
They may not, yeah.
so that's something we need to think about.
I was looking tonight at a notification from the city of Portland about their water sewage combined stormwater rates going up about 6%. And part of that notification was a statement that said that if you need financial help, contact so-and-so. You know, if this change puts you into a situation where you can't pay it, there is assistance available. Please contact the following. I know we have notes on our website and so forth and so on, but
We have notes on our bills.
yeah, I know.
We're already doing that.
But isn't that, I haven't looked at it, but is it just for the donation piece or?
What does it say?
It's for the donation.
I'm
But,
sorry.
but the office has been contacted, it's just, they didn't call us. They were just fell out of it. And one of them, I believe, what you told me was a temporary thing. 2 or 3 months, like a medical issue or something like that. They couldn't qualify because they didn't apply by July. Well, they probably didn't know they were gonna have a medical issue in.
Well, right,
Yeah, I don't know when we're gonna actually design this because we're spending a lot of time on it. I would love to see us say one payment, somebody comes to us, just the act of having to ask for help. We make one payment and tell them for any more, you've got to meet some criteria. But I'd like to be able to respond to somebody's first call on an emergency basis without invoking federal poverty levels or income tax forms. But anyway, I don't know how much more time we're gonna spend on designing this here.
There is a second message box on the billing that we can add our own verbiage. So if we wanted, if us girls could come up with some kind of verbiage to put on there about needing, if you need assistance, please call the office or anything like that, we could do something.
Oh, that's good.
So there is a second message box that we can put our own wording in to
Is that-
the bill.
Is that paper as well?
People either get it emailed or by paper.
But it
Yeah.
is whatever's on, yeah, it's all looks the same.
Right.
So it would be.
I can send you the verbiage that I saw that the city of Portland's using. You can see if you want to use that as a model.
Okay,
Okay. Well, and Aaron, I'll sit down with you and we'll summarize what was said, particularly entry into the program at any point that a person needs to.
I can help with that too.
Okay.
If you need some help.
And I don't know what we would need to decide what kind of requirements, if any, we would want to have the person provide in order to participate.
And just so you know, I've had more people come up to me in the Netarts area
Mhm.
and concerned about, the water rates as well as sewer rates have gone up significantly.
Okay,
So just saying that
no,
there may be more of a need than we realize.
okay. All right, well, this was just to get people thinking about it, so.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to share with you all that the city of Portland said in that communication was just a statement that said that their rates were going to be going up 5 to 6% a year until 2030. So they were giving people advance notice that every year the rates are going to go up for the next 5 years.
Yeah, well, and we'll very briefly get to that for just a moment. So, all right. If there's really no other questions, we have the draft IGA, temporary water supply agreement.
It seemed clear to me. I'm interested in, what the XX per gallon payment would be, but
Well, the current rate that we're charged right now, or was last fiscal year, was $3 per 1,000 gallons. So I don't know what their rate is per 1,000, but they have to follow their own ordinance. I did talk to legal counsel when we came up with this, because what I wanted in there is what NOSD side of it. There's nothing in here. I mean, there is stuff in here for NWD side of it, but that's just basic,
So
boilerplate type of stuff.
do they know this is coming?
They are not responding.
I know.
I don't know what else to do.
They have been advised that we're doing this, but it's an accepted awareness we can't control.
No, I hear you. It just,
You gotta push it off the fence.
Well,
They're not gonna do anything to push it off the fence.
and I mean,
This
I
is not
feel
a
like
demand.
with the response that I didn't get from their board chair, I mean, if I take this down there, it's probably gonna just sit.
right.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from and concern, but nevertheless, if it comes from our attorney, there could be more interest in it on their part.
Right.
Our new NPDS grant requires us to have an I&I reduction program, not just go out and TV and clean anymore. So having access to the water to do these things for repairs, we have to have it because of their change of attitude towards NOSD. I mean, I'm not trying to steal their water, put it on ratepayers'
No, I know.
water, but watch our sewer rates as well. And that's right now, what I feel, we're at their whim, whatever they want to charge us that time.
Just seems like such a basic thing,
Should be,
and
should be easy.
and yeah, I mean, and they've got new people over there and hey, let's all get along.
And one of their statements when it came to the sewer rate, water rates we were paying, nothing was in writing. They had nothing in writing. So we don't recognize the good old boy handshake. So they've kind of pushed it to this.
Right.
Now, this will help future, both districts in the future. Oh, here's what they did 10 years earlier. So,
Right.
So
No,
this-
I think it's time to do this, and to get something formal. And I understand that it might rattle their cage a little bit to have our lawyer contact them, but I think it's
They're
appropriate.
rattling our cage. They have zero regard for our state of mind. They aren't answering any phone calls. They aren't answering any requests. When do they worry about how mad we get? Never, apparently. So we force the issue.
If you
They're
have,
essential services, the two,
Correct.
It's essential. You'll need to drink, have, flush your toilet with water, and then we take care of it from there, right? So,
Should fit together.
I mean. We're not,
It just seems to
I'm
me
not
that.
trying to be negative about it,
that-
it just,
that
it's
an inter-
frustrating.
Yeah, an intergovernmental agreement between the two entities seems like it's necessary, so we put one on the table and we're not saying this is a done deal, we're saying we want to have this agreement. Here's a draft. You guys give us a draft back. Let's talk.
I've tried for years to get it where we don't charge them sewer rates.
Right.
They don't charge us for water because we're double charging the same ratepayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always bothered, but it's a little more difficult because we work with two different water districts.
Right.
Okay, so
I was just wondering under section 4 payment, and I just noticed this. It's the rate of so much per gallon. That, I mean, that's like 0.00 pennies per gallon, right?
So
remember, this is a draft.
Okay,
Okay, and Clark had it written a little bit different, but because sometimes we use 300 gallons,
yeah,
okay? So I'm happy to take if they want to do $3 per thousand, okay, or
Okay.
something like that, but like I said, with no response, this is a starting point.
okay.
That's all we got.
Well, and this is what we would like them to accept.
Well, we would like for, their input back, certainly. Same thing if you read,
well,
I'm saying that,
My thought is we give them our best shot at a complete product and then let them chop on
to
it.
keep their costs down, we even here are offering to buy our own water meter to put on
Okay,
the hydrant. But they may not want that. They may want to use their own certified
Right.
hydrant.
Sherry, your thoughts, if any? What do you think?
this is a perfectly reasonable way to try to get the ball rolling.
Okay,
And just say, this is what we put together as a starting place. This has the stuff we need from our end. Take this to your lawyer, tell us what you need from your end so we can get to a final document.
Do you
Just,
need- Do you
it's
need
not-
board action to move forward with this, or can
no,
we
we're
just move it forward?
Did the best I could to be fair and neutral sounding on this.
I thought it was fine, but it sounded very elementary, non-attractive.
So I'm all for doing the next step and getting it delivered. Do you need us to vote to do that, or can you do it with what we've already given you?
It's like any other vendor.
I think that, the board can just do it by consensus, that you're gonna authorize me to have our legal firm send this to the folks like this.
Yeah, I'm down.
yes, that's,
And it may not be the end all be all,
right.
so that's.
We assume it's not.
Right.
Yeah, I assume they'll come back and have some revisions.
Yeah, so that's, everybody agrees that we'll authorize Dan to have our attorney send it over to the folks.
Yep.
At the water district.
Agreed.
All right, resolution. Next item, 2505. Amending and adopting public works design standards. Is that a whole book of standards, or how, what are we really?
You're authorizing the changes, because there's usually annual changes to the public works design standards.
Okay,
So as plumbing codes change, things like that. So it's just updated. It's not rewritten. It's not a new document.
okay,
So I don't recall that we've done this, at least since I've been a member of the board.
We've never done it. We never done it. But we have to.
Is this something we should be doing annually?
Yes.
okay. And these are updated annually. It looks like April 25. Was that the last update to the standards?
We try, I mean, we don't do it annually by, exactly by the month, like September to September.
Okay,
So, but it will be done in a calendar year.
all right. So in the future, should we do this when the new fiscal year comes in? I mean, just so that we have it on the calendar of things to do.
Never had it set on a specific date because code changes don't always come out. Developer, when we run into issues with a developer and we need to correct it so
Right.
that we don't have that again. So it's kind of a document that kind of moves.
But you kind of said it'd been a number of years since we've done this.
Well, it's not a number of years, it's a number of years since, well, the board has never by resolution approved it. And I think our ordinance states we should have been doing it that way. So
Okay,
we are now gonna start doing it that way.
I think I understand from you that there aren't changes on a regular basis to be.
Right.
But perhaps once a year, whatever it is, we should have a resolution.
yes,
I think that's what Sean's saying is
Yeah.
even if the changes aren't annual and regular, our approval should be. We should every year approve whatever it is
Yeah.
right now. And each year, then, so we're always updated with our resolution.
So if we're gonna do it
That's-
annually, can we just calendar it for next August? Put it on the
But-
calendar and update it next August?
Dan's still mulling whether or not we need to.
I will run that by the engineer who I work with, updating these.
I was just translating his question.
So, and
thank you.
I can go ahead and tell Denny, let's plan on doing this every year annually, and we'll come up with a month. If you want to start with August, and then I'll
Well,
see
it
what's
could be the
feasible.
January board meeting, a new year comes in, could be the fiscal year, could be anything.
Well, I like your idea of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
I actually like.
Yeah.
So
So ask him what he thinks.
that'll just be planning, scheduling with the engineer more accurately than we do.
Okay,
In the meantime, do we need a motion to adopt this resolution?
Yeah.
So I move that we adopt resolution 2505, resolution amending and adopting public works design standards for the Netarts-Oceanside Sanitary District.
Second,
all right, we've already had our discussion. So all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Resolution 2505 is adopted. All right. Let's see, license agreement between NOSD and some entity called Oceanside Protection Society.
sounds like wackos. Sounds like do-gooders.
So,
So this agreement, our attorneys, there was a draft really based on what the water district did with nonprofit that owns the Connex box over for 10 years. And we think maybe our lawyers had handed drafting that, but I went over it from Water District, from Texas, and made some draft changes, very minor. And then it went back to our lawyer and came back clean.
They said it was up at the bank.
So it's pretty non-controversial. It basically says, anything you want to do with this box, even though we own it, you're giving us a license to put it in your property, and you have full ownership rights to do anything you want with that box. Just give us notice. And the only rights we have really are access to it. And we need to have access to it. I think that's,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, so,
No, legal counsel said it had a flavor or something that already seen.
so I will recuse myself obviously from saying this is okay, as a board member. But it's okay from our standpoint. Yes.
So, and this really looks good to me, but will we have a separate minor agreement in regard to the propane tank, or how will we handle that part of things? I mean,
That propane tank has abandoned my existence. It's a tail that's wagged the dog from the beginning. I wanted to not give it to us.
Okay, so as far as the tank goes, it's got use, found out there are options. You don't need to run power to it. It could come in handy. I don't think at this point we need an agreement between NOSD and that for the tank. If we decide we want to approach you to use the tank,
Yeah,
then we'll
absolutely.
figure out how we'll take care of the paperwork to track the usage.
The OPS is in a position of total gratitude that you're taking this on, that you got in so much trouble. Anything you want to do with the propane tank, we're going to agree with.
So we got a tank, get pretty good size one. And it's got a little unit on it that tells the delivery person.
Yeah.
They
And
don't
that's different but to fill them, to fill the little bottles, the 5-gallon ones that you have and that we have, a forklift,
Right.
there's a piece for $800, $900
Yeah,
you put on there, and it gravity, so you can fill those without having to have electricity or power.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. It would, in a power outage, if something really drastic happened, you still could get it out of there. And maybe that's a cost share thing, so you do, but anyway, let's get the other thing.
so, all right, have a motion to approve the license agreement between NOSD and OPS.
I'll second that.
You're the primary, I'll second. You'll be primary, I'll be second.
Okay.
Okay,
Hadn't been moved yet. He just said he needed one.
yeah. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor,
Aye,
with Julie abstaining, say aye.
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 Thank you.
And the next item is the dock access. Proposed. So any discussion of that? You,
So this kind of goes off of, Simeon brought it up a couple of years ago, where the US Department of Justice enacted a rule that makes all websites have to be ADA compliant. And this is something that we went ahead and purchased to go ahead and make all of our documents accessible and make us 100% compliant.
okay,
And any document you upload to your website, it will go through that, this service, and then we'll make sure that it's,
It seems like a reasonable charge for that. I'm all in favor of this.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's a very good thing.
okay, any questions or further discussion? So, and the last thing, I took this out of the Headlight Herald from last week, and I realize it's water rates, but they talk about a little bit about how they might minimize the impact on customers. And so it looked just kind of interesting to see what's going on with the city around us. I don't know if anybody has any comment or just it's something that's out there and other communities and municipalities are struggling with raising rates also. So this is probably something to remember when we get into our next budget cycle, however things may be affected. Comment or thoughts, Jim?
No, not right at the moment.
Okay.
I almost choked when I saw it. I went, wow, I compared that to our rate hikes. I wondered if they had gone a long period of time without rate hikes, whether this was makeup or whether this was purely perspective, even though they have been raising rates. So, but
Well, to answer your question, make it clear what's going on here, I pay these rates and counts.
Mhm.
And if you go to the third paragraph on the first column, where the paragraph starts with Lewis started his presentation, about a third way down, 4 or 5 lines, you'll see costing, they've only been charging $15.04 a month for water rates. And I've been paying that for better than a decade.
so
And they ran themselves into insolvency. That's why the increases are so high. When I've had people talk to me, aren't you mad that they're gonna double your rates in 5 years? They're gonna double it to $40 a month. What's the rate for the Netarts Water District? Isn't that like $85 a month? They're still gonna be in, this isn't over, this is still gonna be insolvent. 18% is not enough. They're not accepting reality where they act in their utility. So that's why you're seeing it's the utilities that have kept their user rates so artificially low, they've made themselves insolvent.
is it their sewer district, sanitary district? Basically, it's just the equivalent of a building freeze in Tillamook because it's either a capacity issue or something, because Bay City is exploding because everybody's building in Bay City.
Yeah, so what's going on with the sewer in town is, yes, it's on a moratorium, you cannot
That's
build
it.
east of town. Okay, so they're under a moratorium. It's not that their treatment plant, because they overbuilt the treatment plant. And they did no repairs to their collection system. So their collection system is not able to handle the flows, the pump stations are too small, all that. And that's why they sometimes spill into the creek at the East Middleton.
Okay.
So there's a difference. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can get a moratorium. That's one of them. Or the city of Tillamook.
Yeah. No,
I can't answer for Bay City. I haven't.
no, Bay City I was talking with Bay City because we were talking about contracting for some of their services. And they said, right now our services are full because we're getting all the people that would otherwise build in Tillamook. But can't, and they're in Tillamook and they're building in Bay City. So they're full.
And they knew that moratorium threat on the years anyway. They did nothing to fix it.
And it's been for a long time.
Yeah. I live in there. I kind of. Works director lives across the street from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it puts in perspective how fortunate we are to have had a forward-seeing executive in our district here. Because even though we're having rate increases, it's not that situation. We're building them to be ready for the future, and they're trying to figure out the path.
Okay.
Things aren't getting cheaper out there. Yes.
If there's no other comments, we don't have an executive session, and I'll call the meeting adjourned at 6:51.
Cool.
I have a couple things.
Yeah, I got time for stuff.
All right.
See you,
Thank
Simeon.
you, everybody. Bye now.
Bay City's.
Do what?